Hi everyone, I'm Diana, a training specialist at Xello. In this video, I'll walk you through the Common App application workflows for your students, counselors, and teacher recommenders, and offer you tips along the way. But before we start, let's remember two things. Your students will do most of their Common App application tasks in Common App. In Xello, your students only need to request their counselor and teacher recommenders. As a counselor or teacher recommender, you won't log into Common App to manage requests. You'll do everything in Xello instead. We'll begin with the student experience. To start, your students will go to commonapp.org and sign in to their Common App account, or create a new account if they don't have one yet. I'll show you what that looks like from a demo student Common App account. Once they've signed in, they'll need to fill out their profile, which is found on the dashboard under My Common Application. The profile is where they share information about themselves, like contact details and language proficiency. Once that's done, there are 4 important steps your students must finish in Common App before linking their account with Xello. They'll add their current high school, add at least one college, identify their start term and admission plan for each college they're applying to, and they'll need to sign the FERPA release authorization. Here's how students complete each of these steps. Step 1. Finding and adding their current high school. Under the Education section, students will search by school name or enter the SEEB code and then click Continue. Step 2. Adding a college. They'll do this by clicking on College Search, browsing the list of colleges, or by searching for a school by name. Once they've found the one they want, they click the Add button to save it to their My Colleges list. Which leads us to Step 3, identifying the start term and admission plan. This is important because it gives you insight into application deadlines. To complete this step, students will access the college from their My Colleges section, and within the General section, select their preferred start term and preferred admission plan. Finally, Step 4. They'll need to sign the FERPA release authorization. Further in the application section, they'll find Recommenders in FERPA. Here, students need to read brief instructions, choose whether or not they want to waive their FERPA rights, then sign and date the authorization. And that completes the steps students need to take before they connect their Common App account with Xello. But while we're here, I'll just point out this information below the FERPA release authorization. This page advises students that in order to request their transcripts, counselor forms, or teacher recommendations, they'll use Xello. For recommendations by other people, such as coaches, a pastor, or employer, they'll use Invite Recommenders here and enter an email address. In cases where students want to request a teacher evaluation to be completed by a former teacher that is not accessible to request through Xello, they'll download the PDF forms and share it with them. As indicated on the evaluation form, the teacher must mail their recommendation directly to each college admission office. With that in mind, let's jump into Xello to see how requests for teacher and counselor recommendations work. Once students sign into Xello, under Plans, they'll click College Applications. At the top of the page, they'll see this banner with the Common App logo saying they need to connect their accounts. Once they click Connect, a pop-up lets them know they'll be redirected to Common App to sign in, and then redirected back to Xello. Students only need to connect their accounts this one time. Back in Xello, students will see the banner on the college application page is updated to show that the accounts are connected. Scrolling down, those colleges they added in Common App will automatically appear in their application tracker and will be identified with the Common App logo, confirming they're applying to those colleges through Common App. If a student is applying to a college by a method other than Common App, they can use the Add New Application link to track the requirements for their other application. But for this video, we'll focus on Common App schools. To request Common App counselors and recommenders through Xello, students will click on a college that has the Common App logo. This will open that school's application checklist, which has 2 tasks: counselor forms and teacher evaluations. For counselor forms, they're assigning a counselor at their school to complete the required Common App forms, such as the school report and final report. Students only need to make this request once because the assigned counselor will send the forms to all the Common App colleges on the students list. For teacher evaluations, they'll be able to send as many requests as the maximum number in the checklist. Common App determines this minimum and maximum. To assign or request, students search or browse through the list of available counselors or teachers and click Send. When successful, the application checklist updates to show the name of the counselor who was assigned and when. Meanwhile, the assigned counselor will receive an email notification with instructions on how to action the request. Let's sign into an educator account in Xello now to see how this is done. Once you've signed into your Xello account, access the Application Manager from the College Application banner on the dashboard, or by clicking Features, then College, and selecting Application Manager. This will take you to the landing page where you'll see at a glance the progress of all college applications with document requests. 3 cards at the top focus on most urgent requests, but if you want to view the entire list of requests, regardless of urgency, point in the application process, or document type, click View All. This will open a list of all your students' applications with outstanding requests. For now, let's focus on initial requests, which is where new applications with requests will appear first. Click View Requests to see the list of applications by student with document requests that are due with the initial application submission. This includes Common App school reports, counselor recommendations, teacher evaluations, and fee waivers. Depending on your setup, you may see requests for direct applications in addition to those that will send by Common App. This is because your school has enabled the Parchment Receive service in addition to the Common App integration to streamline your application management workflows all within Xello. Use the search or filters to help you locate the applications or forms you want to action. For the purposes of this walkthrough, we're going to focus on the Common App form requests. Clicking on the requirements progress for a student's college application will open the side panel. Take a look through their requirements to see what you'll need to fill out on their behalf and when each form is due. As the banner says, before you can action any Common App form request, you'll need to complete the relevant profile. If you have requests as a counselor and a teacher recommender, you'll need to complete both profiles. You'll be required to enter basic information such as your name and job title, as well as your school details to build a high school profile. This profile is included with the bundle of forms required for the applications your students submit in Common App. This means you'll only need to fill this out once to handle all of your students' Common App requests. A green banner confirms you've completed your Common App profile. Now you can complete and send required Common App college application forms. If you're a counselor with Xello administrator level access, you can view and submit counselor forms for any student, regardless of which counselor the student chose to assign. You'll see these requirements, as well as those assigned to you, in the Requests table. Begin with the school report, which will unlock the other requests. For forms that haven't been started and that have shared school data, you may find some of the fields are already filled in. This means you'll just need to complete the information specific to your student, including attaching their transcript. If your school has already uploaded transcripts in Xello, the option to view and attach the imported transcript will be available, or you can upload a new PDF for the student. And you always have the option to click Save Draft and return later to make edits. After sending the school report, continue with the other requests for the application. If you've sent the form by mistake, you can unsubmit the form if the college hasn't downloaded it yet, or you can correct errors by completing an optional report. The rest of the application requirements will vary depending on the school your student is applying to. When you've finished actioning all the required initial forms for an application, close the panel and continue to the next application. Similar to a counselor recommendation, teacher evaluations will be listed as a requirement in the Requests table. It's important to note that this one evaluation letter that you fill out for the student will be sent to all the Common App colleges the student is applying to, including schools they add in the future. For this reason, make sure your letter is specific to the student's accomplishments and not to the school they're applying to. Once again, you can save the draft and return to it later. If you have no further edits, from the student requests, click Send Form. At any point, you can verify the status of all applications for a specific student by viewing the College Applications tab in their student profile. Simply click on their name from any Documents Request page, or search for their name and then locate the College Application tab. Here we can check if the student is connected to Common App, see a summary of all of the colleges the student is applying to, including their deadlines, who the assigned counselor is to complete Common App forms, and if the student has completed their FERPA release authorization. The Counselor Forms section shows the list of forms as well as the status timeline from when the form was sent to Common App, when the student sent their application to an institution, and when the form was sent and opened by the institution. The caution icons indicate that action is needed on some forms. Further down the page, we have similar information for the teacher evaluations, including which teacher the student requested. Once students start receiving admission letters, they can update their Xello application tracker page with the school they've chosen to attend. You'll see that enrollment decision reflected here, or you can add the decision on their behalf. I just showed you how to track student requests through the student's profile, but another way to view student application progress is through the College Application Reports. Over here in the left menu, we'll click Reports, then select College Applications. There are a few reports you can run here. There's a General Applications report, which can show applications by student or by institution. Here's a quick glance at the By Student report, where you can see the applications students are tracking and their progress. Back to the College Application Reports specifically for Common App, there are the Counselor Forms Report, Teacher Evaluations Report, and the FERPA Waiver Report. Let's click into the Counselor's Forms Report first. This report shows the same information we saw in the student profile. You can scroll through the report as is, or let's check out the filter options. For example, I'll filter this report by students with no counselor assigned and click Apply. Now I know which students have yet to request a counselor for Common App applications. This is where the message feature is useful to help your students stay on track. By clicking Send Message, I can immediately send a reminder out to all students on this list. They'll receive a notification email from Xello with the details of the message and a prompt to sign in to Xello. Now we'll take a quick look at the Teacher Evaluations report. Here we can see which students have assigned an educator to write an evaluation. Same as with other reports, you can narrow the table with filters, or if you'd like to download any report to have it offline and in a spreadsheet, you can click Data Options and choose a format. The last Common App report is the FERPA waiver. From here, you can view which students have signed the FERPA release and send a reminder to those who haven't. Like you saw in the Application Manager, you can always click on a student's name to go directly to the College Application tab in their student profile. Before we wrap up, I want to mention that we're always improving our integration with Common App, so you can expect other enhancements throughout the year. If you're looking for step-by-step instructions, we recommend checking out our Common App articles and resources on our support site. Check out help.xello.world and search for Common App. Here you can download and share our Common App guides with students and teacher recommenders. And if you need any help, contact our Client Solutions team. You can send them a message from Xello support or reach them by email at help@xello.world or by calling 1-800-965-8541. Thanks for watching.